Hello and welcome to Compassion Watch, the television outreach of the Prince George's Compassion Project.
Addressing domestic violence and animal cruelty at the root cause.
I'm Tim Saffel.
And I'm Linda Saffel. Thanks for tuning in.
As our regular viewers know, we're here to reduce domestic violence and animal cruelty through promoting compassion through the positive experiences with the human-animal bond.
Having a strong, healthy experience with a companion animal certainly can be a positive experience.
So today we're going to pick up on the healthy aspect of the relationship by introducing to our audience Dr. Christina Chambreau, the well-known veterinarian, lecturer, and author of the Healthy Animals Journal.
Dr. Chambreau has been using homeopathy in her practice for over 25 years.
And she's co-founder of the Academy of Veterinary Homeopathy.
She's also one of the instructors in the Holistic Healthcare for Pets Summer Courses 2009, sponsored by Prince George's Feral Friends SPCA, that will be held in June.
Dr. Christina Chambreau, welcome to Compassion Watch.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here.
First of all, let me ask you something about yourself. You're a veterinarian, so does that mean that you have all of the training that a conventional veterinarian would have?
Absolutely. I'm a doctor of veterinary medicine. So that means I did a college and then a 4-year veterinary college. I graduated from the University of Georgia College of Veterinary Medicine in 1980.
So a holistic veterinarian, as you are, then has all of the training of a conventional veterinarian and then some?
Absolutely. There are some holistic veterinarians who became holistic themselves before they went to vet school. And when that happens, they go through veterinary school, learn all of the conventional, and continue to add their holistic modalities. For me, the way I got started was actually by accident. When I graduated from veterinary school, I knew very little about holistic medicine because in 1980, it was not that commonly used in animals. I didn't feel real comfortable when I graduated because I noticed there were so many animals that had problems that we could only keep at bay. We would give antibiotics, anti-inflammatories, and the symptoms would go away, they'd come back, or the animals would get sicker. So when a client asked me to draw blood and send the results to her homeopathic veterinarian, I said, my goodness, certainly I'll do that. What is homeopathy? And she told me about homeopathy. I called the veterinarian and he sent me 2 bottles of little sugar pills, little white sugar pills. And he said, these are good for bladder problems. So I stuck them on the shelf and pretty much forgot about them until a cat came in that had been on antibiotics for 3 years. They couldn't take this cat off antibiotics. And my boss and the owner were talking about maybe euthanizing the cat sometime in the near future. So I came in, offered this medicine, she took it. The cat was completely off antibiotics for the next 9 months I was at the practice, and I was hooked. So then I did further training in homeopathy. Now, interestingly enough, there wasn't a lot of homeopathy training around, so I had to just get started in that way.
So you got involved with other people and formed an organization. Is that what happened at that time?
Absolutely. That happened down the line. That was a few years down the line. First, I really got exposed to homeopathy alone, and then I was exposed to the holistic approach because homeopathy is one form of holistic medicine. If you think about an umbrella, the umbrella is the view that we have of the animal or the person, and it's looking at the whole, everything that is happening to that person or animal. And then hanging down from the umbrella are all the different modalities, all the different ways, all the different approaches that we can use to treat the animal or person. Homeopathy is one of those modalities. We also have acupuncture, Chinese herbs, flower essences, Reiki, massage, nutritional supplements, and many, many more that you can learn yourself to keep your animals more healthy, or that you can go to practitioners, veterinarians, and lay people who are trained in using these different modalities. As time went on, another veterinarian, Dr. Pitcairn, became very much more knowledgeable about homeopathy than anyone else and started teaching classes once a year. And then he, I, and Dr. Rigas formed the Academy of Veterinary Homeopathy. And the Academy of Veterinary Homeopathy has almost 200 members. It has an annual conference, and lay people can come to the conference and actually do an introduction to veterinary homeopathy the first day, the day before the conference, and they can attend the entire conference if they wish.
Those conferences are very good because we've been to a couple of them because they're on the East Coast about every 3 years, and I think it's in Massachusetts this fall in September. So
actually, there's two conferences. The Academy of Veterinary Homeopathy Conference will be in Savannah, Georgia, in October, and the American Holistic Veterinary Medical Association, where all of those different modalities that are on the umbrella, hanging down from the umbrella, many of those will be covered at that conference, and that's going to be in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. And for 2 days before the conference, that's for veterinarians and for other people, there will be 2 days just for lay people, where we're going to be having vendors and veterinarians speaking, and I'll be speaking at that.
Good.
Now, the American Holistic Veterinary Medical Conference, that is for a group that's much larger than the Academy of Veterinary Homeopathy, because the holistic umbrella is much bigger than the homeopathy modality, right?
Exactly.
Now, would you say that the word holistic refers more to a way of thinking rather than what you actually do, whether it's give a vitamin or an herb or a remedy?
An antibiotic.
Or an antibiotic.
There's been a shift in terms over the years. So often we think about holistic, we may call it integrative as opposed to holistic. And the integrative approach would be the way you're looking at the illness of the animal, that you're looking at this umbrella. You're looking at everything about the animal, their environment, the people they live with, what's happening to the people that they live with, what's happened in the past on the animal, and what are things that may be bothering the animal at this time? Have there just been a set of earthquakes? Has there been bad weather? What about when do the seizures happen? Is it during the different times of the moon phases? So those are questions that you would look at from the holistic viewpoint, and sometimes that would include using antibiotics or steroids or surgery. But the goal is to build up the overall health rather than just getting rid of one symptom. So that's the holistic approach.
Well, now I know there's some times when an animal just doesn't seem quite right. You know, he's a little bit off. And I feel this way too, sometimes. And typically, if you go to a conventional doctor, the doctor says, there's nothing wrong with you. Maybe it's your imagination or something like that. But it seems as though through the holistic approach, there are different ways of looking at imbalances that can deal with this sort of a situation.
Actually, that's really true. There are two important chunks to be thinking about here. One is, how do we get ill? How do animals get ill? And the first level is, first you get ill at an energetic level. And that's I have people bring animals into a vet. When I was doing conventional medicine, they would come in and say, my animal's ill. Well, what's wrong? I don't know. She's just ill. She's just not herself. She's just not doing well. And I couldn't do anything except offer expensive tests, x-rays, etc., to find out what was going on. The second level is functional imbalance. Now, at a functional imbalance, you have symptoms like itching, but the skin isn't red. There's no raw spots. There's nothing really that you can see other than the dog is itching, or the cat is going frequently to the litter box, but there's no blood in the urine, there's no white cells, there's no bacteria. Now, if the illness continues and it's not treated, the third level is inflammation: heat, redness, pain, swelling, and loss of function. So now you see the red skin, the hot skin, painful skin, the bladder that has stones and crystals and white cells and red cells. Finally, if that continues to be untreated properly, then you develop, on the fourth level, you develop pathology. So the tissue actually changes. You have stones in the bladder, you have thickened bladder wall, the skin becomes hairless and black and thickened. So that's one chunk, is understanding where you are. In conventional medicine, we sometimes can treat functional problems. We definitely can treat inflammation, and usually with surgery we can treat pathology. We can't do anything at that early energetic level. So then the second thing to look at are, what are some of the symptoms that you can see in an animal that indicate at that energetic level that something's wrong? And so one of the ways is to actually have a list that you can go to. And in my book, there's a bookmark that gives a list of these early warning signs, things that most people think are normal. When I teach classes, it's really fun when I ask the room, how many of you have healthy animals? And usually there's half the room puts up their hand that they have healthy animals. And then we start going over this list. Does your dog need a bath on a regular basis, every 2 weeks, or it has a doggy odor? Does your cat or dog have, here's a little dog to show things on, have a little bit of goop that you have to pick out in the corner in the morning? Or does your dog or cat have a dark tear stain? Does your dog or cat have brown feet instead of nice white ones because of continually licking the feet? Does the dog or cat, if you pull up the lip and look where the teeth, of course there's no teeth on this little puppy, when you look where the teeth go into the gum, it may have a little red line, but no tartar. These are early warning signs of illness, and that shows that something's off at that energetic or functional level.
Well, let's suppose that I have some of these early warning signs, or I have an animal that seems to be healthy enough I can't find any symptoms. What is the benefit of going to a holistic veterinarian or taking up the holistic approach for my animal? What can we do to improve from that point?
Well, there are two major benefits. One major benefit is that by taking the holistic approach, your animal is more likely to live a longer life, much longer life, and be healthier. There's a wonderful cat sanctuary in California that adopts cats 16 years old and older that are ill, have been abandoned for various reasons, and they do some basic holistic approaches that we'll talk about in a minute. They have had cats live to be 28 to 30 years old. So there's your goal. Cat Fancy had a cat that was 33 years old, was how long that, not even specially treated, not even holistically treated, lived. So now you have a goal much longer than the 14 to 18 years that sort of the average cat lives. The second real benefit of choosing the holistic approach is that you will save money at the veterinary clinic with most animals. A few times animals will be so ill that it may cost you as much, but it certainly won't cost more. So those are the two major benefits. Now what you can do, the other great part of the holistic approach is once you have this idea, my animal is not just these symptoms that show up periodically. I don't need to treat each symptom when it shows up. It's not that a bacteria came in and made the ear have an ear infection. It's not that there's a problem in the tear duct causing the tears to not drain down the face. It's really something at the energetic or vibrational level. And then you can say, okay, what can I do differently? And there's some basic key things to improving health. One is to first do an evaluation. How healthy is your animal? So again, by sitting down with your animal and going through these steps, is there goop in the corner of the eyes? What about the teeth? What about odors? What about the nose and the ears and the lymph nodes and the skin all over? What about the anal glands? What about the vulva? Are there problems with the penis? So you can go through the entire list and notice how healthy your animal is. Now, there may be some real illnesses even at that point. Things like diabetes, cancer, and all of these will be added to your symptom list. But say your dog, cat seems to be fairly healthy but has a few of these little problems. What can you do next? The second key of having your animals be healthy is to feed the best diet. So I've got a question for you. What's the best diet for people to eat? Fresh food or processed food? You're right, fresh food. You sure you're not supposed to be drinking special drinks every day to keep yourself healthy? No, it'd be better to eat fresh food. So now, what about your dog or cat? Fresh food or processed food? Yep, fresh food's the best. One of the best books you can read if you doubt this is a book called Pottinger's Cats. This was an MD in the 30s who did a study on over 1,000 cats, and he fed them raw meat, yep, raw, not cooked, cod liver oil, and raw milk. That means not pasteurized milk. And those that he fed that to were very, very healthy, bounding with health, full of energy, having normal litter sizes. I know it's a dog. He just did cats. But that kind of energy, that off-the-wall energy, if he cooked the meat or cooked the milk, then the cats became very ill, their litter sizes became small. He has x-rays, measurements of the skull, charts, teeth development, litter sizes, and it was very clear that if you cooked the meat or cooked the milk, i.e. pasteurizing the milk, these cats became very ill. So feeding the best diet. Every animal's different. Some do better on fresh food that's lightly cooked. Some do fine on crappy food. Do you know any people who drink and smoke and live to be over 100? Absolutely. But is that what you would recommend for health? No, it wouldn't be. They stay healthy in spite of it. The third key to staying healthy is to vaccinate the least. How many times do you get measles, mumps, polio, and whooping cough during your life? Every year? Until you die? That means you get it 80 times, 90 times? Nope, not at all. You get it when you're a kid. It gives lifetime immunity as long as you stay relatively healthy, and you don't need to get the vaccine repeated. You also do not go to your MD every year and say, please draw blood and do a titer. A titer is where we look for antibodies against specific diseases. So while that can be done, it's not something that we do for people. Holistic veterinarians for years have said to limit the number of vaccines because they seem to be causing a lot of damage. We're now seeing autoimmune diseases like diabetes, Cushing's disease, pancreatitis, and many other autoimmune diseases, cancer, for instance. Animals are living shorter lifespans. I lectured to 50 Rottweiler people, breeders, showing owners, and their Rottweilers, many of them, maybe 50, 70%, were dying at 6 to 8 years of cancer. The 3 people in that group who did not vaccinate, except for puppies, and then the rabies every 3 years is required by law, those 3 had Rottweilers living to 14 to 16 and dying of various and sundry diseases, not cancer. So that's another key. Vaccinate only for rabies. And in a few moments, as we talk about other modalities, we'll talk about how you can make even the rabies vaccine safer. Finally, you want to have fewer chemicals that you use in your animals. So that means around your house, the yard, and on your animal itself. If you have something that you're told to put on your animal's neck to prevent fleas, but you're supposed to wear gloves, do you really want your 2-year-old child walking around petting the dog? And what effect can that have on the dog or the cat? There are many alternative methods that you can use to keep your animals healthy enough to not have fleas and ticks. So again, that's a way that when your animal is healthy, you won't need to put out the money for monthly flea and tick treatment. So there's ways of saving money through holistic medicine. You can even, in terms of food, get food like venison for free or for a small amount of money. You can get parts of animals that are not used for human consumption, like chicken backs, from a local farm that has happy, free-range chickens. So those are the main keys to keeping your animals healthy, and you can learn yourself how to do many different holistic treatments.
Well, let's talk about your specialty for a minute, because although you've been practicing veterinary medicine for 25 years, you've been exclusively using homeopathy for over 20 years. So that must be pretty effective if it kept your attention for 20 years. So can you tell us something about, what is homeopathy? All these H words tend to confuse me. The holistic, homeopathy, herbs, and so forth. So could you clarify just briefly, how does homeopathy work? What are the principles?
Absolutely. One of the things I love about homeopathy is the principles. Homeopathy taught me all of these steps, how animals get ill, how animals heal in terms of people, how people heal, how people get better. And so the keys of homeopathy is like cures like. Medicines of all sorts, over 2,000 of them, made from herbs, minerals, body substances, things like the lava from Mount Hekla in Iceland, where a veterinarian noticed that the cows grazing on that lava, grass on that lava, got big lumps on their jaw, so he made a remedy for it. And I have seen bone underneath, called spondylosis, bone that's formed underneath the spinal column, go away when Hekla lava was used. So homeopathic remedies are inexpensive, they're easy to give, it's just hard to learn which ones to give. So how you give a homeopathic remedy is you take a pill or granules, you cut the corner off of an old envelope. I'm very into the environment, so that's to save the environment. You put a pill into the envelope, you crush it. Usually it needs a hammer. Your hand will not do it. And then you unfold the envelope that now has powder in it. You gently lift the animal's mouth open and pour the powder into the animal's mouth. It's very easy to give. There are other methods of giving it in water and in dilution, and sometimes you buy a bottle that's already diluted of a different type of strength of homeopathy.
Now, Christina, you're going to be teaching homeopathy this summer in the Holistic Healthcare for Pets summer courses. In fact, you're teaching for 7 days. Is it something that a beginner can come to?
Absolutely. There's the first class is holistic health for animals. So if you want to learn a little bit more about how to feed your animal, about not vaccinating, about different holistic approaches that you can do yourself, like flower essences, massage therapy, healing touch for animals, then come to day 1. Day 2 is the beginning, the introduction to homeopathy, how remedies are made. You don't need to know a thing to come to that class. The next 5 days, once you're intrigued enough, like I was, and say, yeah, I want to learn more about this. I want to learn how to use the index of symptoms, where you can look up symptoms like itching 2 o'clock in the morning. And the book's called Materia Medica, where it's written up about each remedy. So you can make that like, cures like match. We go through the entire process, and then on the 5th day, we use live cases to review that process. Now, are you going to be an expert at the end of that? No, absolutely not. But you'll be able to help your homeopathic veterinarian or prescriber work much better with your animal, so your animal is more likely to be healed. Everybody, veterinarians, I've had veterinarians fly in from Hong Kong, Israel, and Japan to take this class in Bowie. We've had people, one woman came down for 5 years to the beginning, then the intermediate, then the advanced classes. And she would save her spare change during the year to make enough money to come down to the classes. So everybody can come. Lay people, anybody who has the remote, if you want your animal to be healthier, hie yourself to Bowie and take these classes in June. I can also guarantee that you will save money the next year. And if you're one of the first 5 to sign up for the class, you'll get a copy of my book, The Healthy Animals Journal, where you actually get to track the symptoms that your animal has. You'll get one of those for free. If you sign up, register, and then email me and say, I've signed up, I've paid, and I'd like my journal, please.
Thank you, Christina. Christina Chambreau, we've had as a guest today. Christina Chambreau is available online at christinachambreau.com. The Healthy Animals Journal, her book, is also available through the Healthy Animals Journal, healthyanimalsjournal.com. And the courses that we've been talking about are available through holistichealthcareforpets.org. And they're sponsored by Prince George's Feral Friends and held in Bowie in June, the third and fourth week of June. So you can sign on, get complete course descriptions, register online, check the book list, and so forth. So Christina Chambreau, I'd like to thank you for being here today. We've enjoyed your talk. It's been very enlightening. Thank you very much.
Well, I've loved being here. Thanks so much for having me, and particularly Tim and Linda, thank you so much for hosting these classes. How many years have we done it now?
Since 2001.
Awesome. Just incredible. So really, everybody, sign up for these classes. They are not to be missed.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll be signing off now, and we'll see you next time.